let's introduce our speaker for today, Adam Lewenberg. He is the president of Postal Advocate Inc., the only mail audit and recovery firm in the US and Canada. We manage a portfolio of over 70,000 pieces of mailing equipment for the largest US and Canadian companies. He speaks and teaches nationally on mail savings and industry trends. He is the industry co-chair for the Boston Postal Customer Council, and he's also a member of the Mail Systems Management Association. He has certifications in CMDSS and MDC. He's a featured writer for the Mailing Systems Technology magazine, and he also worked for one of the largest mailing vendors for over 18 years as the director of national sales for pre-sort, tabletop inserters, addressing, hardware software, and green offerings. He was one of the top 5 account managers nationally, working with some of the top accounts in the nation. Postal Advocate is not affiliated with any mailing vendor, and we offer unbiased advice. So let's get started. Over to you, Adam.
Thank you, Doris. So today we're going to talk about PC postage versus postage meters. And there's lots of different things about these two different systems and way of processing mail that we want to make sure that you have visibility to so you can make the best decision for yourself and your organization. So what are we going to cover? We're going to cover the facts about what's going on in the industry, some technology changes as the meter companies are moving from analog to digital connectivity, the functional differences between the two systems, and then the customer experience between the two solutions. So what's happening to business mail? So people are mailing less. And so I thought we'd start out this and just give an overview about what's going on in the world, in the US around mail volumes. And so if you look at this by class, letters being the most common, you can see that first class mail volumes are going down, at pretty drastic rates. Every year you're seeing about anywhere between a 2 to 5% decrease in volumes. And we don't anticipate this changing. This is going to keep happening. And the reason it's happening is for the following. Business mail, the largest business mail application is invoices and statements. The number one reason people have mailing systems is because they have to send out bills. So what's happening to bills is more are going online, or larger companies are consolidating their print. So they're consolidating what goes on at multiple facilities to generating those invoices out of one location. And then they're sending them out at reduced rates or pre-sort rates. And you can see that the pre-sort rates that we're looking at here have a much lower decline rate than the rest of the mail classes. Checks. So the next biggest mailing people do is they're sending out checks. So they're sending out accounts payable checks or payroll checks. With checks, more has moved to electronic. So fewer and fewer people are actually sending checks. Fewer and fewer organizations, they're paying more of their bills electronic. And then payroll checks, where we all used to get a payroll check, and then companies stop sending payroll checks and they give payroll remittance. And now a lot of organizations just expect the employee to go online if they want to access their information. Marketing mailings. A lot of people used to do marketing mailings in their office, sending out, 500 postcards or sending out, notices, newsletters, and things like that. Well, what's happened is, due to the complexity with the Postal Service, it got too difficult to try to get postal discounts on your own unless you're a sophisticated mailer. So more people move that type of volume to mail houses who can get drastically lower postage rates, and frankly aren't running it through meters or PC postage. They're using, permits. And then there's been a huge move to move those small mailings to email marketing. And email marketing is just easier and you get instant feedback. So what's happening in mail, and you're seeing it in these charts, is there's this huge move that what's left is day-to-day volumes. So I have to send a contract out. I have to send this document over. I have to mail something, but it's not the large mail streams. And that's the reason we're seeing these types of declines, is because of these core volume changes is what's going on in the industry. And we can see it. The post office, but at the same time, package volumes are growing. And they're growing because we're shipping more things. There are more, businesses shipping things to our homes. We're buying more stuff on e-commerce, and the post office at the same time, when you're shipping from business to residence, B2C, is more competitive than some of the private carriers on lightweight items. And that's because the fees that the private carriers charge, the post office doesn't charge, and allows them to be competitive in the residential segment for lightweight items. And you can see this change in the technology changes. So the post office publishes market share data of the number of postage meters in the US and the number of PC postage users in the US. And when you look at it by year, you can see in 2008, there was almost 1.5 million postage meters in the US. And in 2015, there was just a little under 1.1 million, 28% decline. PC Postage, on the other hand, had 865,000 users, and in 2015 had 1.5 million. So you can see it's growing by 79%. So a lot of people on this call probably aren't incredibly familiar with PC Postage, but as a whole, this industry has been growing. There's over 1 million users, and it's tried and true technology. So I want to make sure that you know that there's similarities in the kind of volumes of placements these are throughout the U.S. The biggest thing that's happening is the phone companies are saying, postage meter vendors are basically requesting that clients migrate from analog to network connections. And they're doing this because the phone companies are saying, we're no longer going to support analog phone lines. So what's happening is the mailing vendors are not including analog modems in any of the new orders. And if you call for support, let's say your meter breaks, the first thing they're going to say is, are you connected to the network? And they say, if you say, no, I'm connected to an analog phone line, and the analog phone line is causing the issue, their first course of action is to say, you need to get an adapter for your meter and then get your meter connected to the network. So many of the meter vendors aren't providing service if the connectivity is the issue and you're connected to analog phone lines, because frankly, they just can't support it if the analog line is causing the issue of the connection. This can be a good thing for you. Analog lines typically cost $300 to $600 per year. Many organizations have these analog lines just for their meters, and the meters are only filling anywhere between like 3 to 10 times per year. And so if you can save $300 to $600 a year by eliminating these analog lines. The biggest challenge, and the reason we're bringing this up, is the biggest challenge we see when we're implementing meters and they have to get onto the network is the firewall. A lot of companies don't want random devices on their network. And so this can create delays and issues trying to get these systems installed. The reason we're bringing this up is because this transition is happening, and because many of you probably have postage meters that are on analog phone lines today and have to be converted over, it's a good time for you to look at what your options are between meters and PC postage. So I want you to know, we're not here telling you one side is better than the other. We're here to show you what the options are and what the differences are so you can make the best decision of what works for your organization. So we're going to go through a lot of this detail as we go through this presentation. There's basically 3 types of mailing systems if you want to break it down. There's PC postage, there's hand-fed mailing systems where you feed them one piece at a time through a postage meter, and then there's automatic feed mailing systems where you can take a pile of mail and you can run them through a feeder and shoot them through the machine. In the PC postage space, there's a few different vendors. There's Pitney Bowes, Indicia, and Stamps.com. Those are the only 3 official PC postage providers. They can do stamps, they can do letters, flats, and parcels. Then there are a few other providers that can also they can do parcels only through a PC postage type tool. The Post Office Click and Ship, Neopost, Hassler, FP, and then there are a couple other cloud-based offerings that can do only the package side. They cannot do the letters and stamps, the letters and flats. For your mailing systems, Pitney Bowes, Neopost, Hassler, FP, and DataPack are all the providers that provide mailing equipment in the United States today. One of the typical ways that we differentiate these systems is by postage use. So PC postage is typically for people who are doing less than $300 a month, or if you do a higher shipping volumes, it certainly can handle very high shipping volumes. Also, if you have mailings that you're going to import, PC postage gives you some ability to import address files and process as a batch, which could allow you to do higher volumes. Hand-fed mail machines, usually anybody does less than $500 a month in postage doesn't really is fine hand feeding their envelopes through a machine. People who do more than 500 though don't really want to sit there for a long period of time hand feeding items through the machines, and they'll want automatic feeders where you can take a pile, stack them up on the feeder, and shoot them through. So we're going to go through a lot of these differences as we go through the presentation, and there will be a link to this, as Doris mentioned, that you can all access this after the call if you'd like. So we're going to rate each category of what we feel are the big differences between systems, and then sort of tell you who we feel is the winner in each category. Obviously, these things will differ for every organization and based on what your needs are, but we're trying to give some guidance to help you figure out what your options are. Mailing systems. So we're going to talk about ease of use, simplicity. With a mailing system, anybody walks up to the machine, they place the item on the scale, or the machine can default to 46 cents, which is the 1 ounce rate, and you just run your mail through it. It's very easy. and multiple people can use it in a consolidated, in a open space, and they can run their mail through. With PC postage, you either log into a website or you use software that's been downloaded onto a computer, and then you print the postage directly on either to the envelope, a stamp sheet, or a 4x6 label if it's a shipping document. So from a simplicity standpoint, we have to give the winner to mailing systems, just due to the fact that you just walk up and run your pieces through. But PC postage on the same side is very easy to use. Productivity. So we're going to break productivity down into two categories, letters and flats, and then packages and priority mail. So on letters and flats, mailing systems can do 18 to 310 letters per minute. They have sealers and moisteners inside them. They can have integrated weighing scales where you can put a pile of mail on a feeder and it can weigh each piece as it goes through as it runs and feeds and seals. Versus PC postage will have, you can either peel and stick the labels onto the envelope, or you can use an envelope feeder in your multifunction device or printer. So most printers will have some way to feed envelopes. Usually you can't do huge volumes, but you can do, usually there'll be some way to feed envelopes into most printers. The advantage of PC postage is where mailing systems only print the postage. With PC postage, you have the ability to import an address list, and you can print directly onto the envelopes. You can print the address, the postage, and even a return address all in one pass. With packages and priority mail, all the mailing system is doing is printing the postage amount. Where with PC postage, you can print a 4x6 label, and on that 4x6 label, it has the destination address, a return address, the postage, and a tracking barcode all in one piece. And as a point of note, some mailing systems are now coming including the PC postage option, but it's still PC postage that's being used with that mail machine. So you have to almost look at it as a separate solution inside that mailing system. So for letters and flats, we'd have to give the productivity winner to mailing systems because they're just designed to do higher production. But with packages and priority mail, PC postage is the clear winner. You can import an address file. You can print hundreds of labels all in one pass. You can store all your information. It's much more productive when it comes to packages. Flexibility. So mailing systems can handle any volume, size, or class. So if you're doing, at any given day, you might have $10 of postage, you might have $5,000 of postage. Whatever you're going to dump at it, you can handle it. PC postage processes mail or packages anywhere you have an internet connection. So let's say that you have staff and they're traveling and they're working out of their home office or they're on a business trip. They can process postage off the same tool that you use in your office. It can handle any volume of USPS packages. If you're doing a lot of packages, they can certainly handle higher volumes than mailing systems. And then some solutions offer you the ability to rate and ship UPS and FedEx packages on the same system that you can do on the same system. So it's one place and you can use your UPS and FedEx rates. So from a flexibility standpoint, we have to give these solutions a tie because they both have their place based on what your volumes are. Reporting. So every mailing system, except maybe the smallest, comes with some basic accounting system. And the basic accounting systems tracks pieces and postage for a time period. So in essence, it'll track your pieces and postage until you clear the history, and then you can track the pieces and postage again. You can get higher level web-based accounting systems, which we would call sort of an enhanced accounting system that can do a lot more, which we'll go into in a minute. With PC postage, it's a little bit different. Because you're logging into the program and because you are processing pieces on a computer, you can get visibility to every single piece of mail that's ever been ran on that system. And that data is stored from 90 days to 2 years. Also from the accounting, there are flexible accounting options where you can track user spends and access points. So with mail machines, so let's go into a little more detail on this. With mail machines, the standard accounting, like we talked about, pieces and postage for a certain time period, or you can track the amount of money you added to the device. Like how much money did you refill? I refilled $500 on May 12th. Usually standard systems come with 10 to 100 different departmental accounts. There's enhanced systems that can give you summary or transaction level detail. Transaction level detail is, think of it like like the marketing department says, well, I want the detail to the $238 I spent last month. You could produce them the days that you ran out mail for them. And the amounts and the transactions. You can get mail class detail if you have the enhanced accounting packages, where you could see, how many certifieds that are run or how many priority mail pieces. You can order the number of accounts based on what you want, 50 to 3,000, and you can define date ranges that you want to keep track of. And you can do charts and graphs, and everything's exportable to Excel. With PC postage, this all comes standard. So 1,000+ accounts can be tracked, define date ranges, you can see your account balances, you have visibility to every printed item, and then who ran the mail with charts and graphs, and you can see the detail. What I really like about this is when you can see the detail across the enterprise. So on one screen, you can literally see for most of the PC postage providers, who ran mail at every location and what happened there, and then dive into class detail. You can manage user activity and access levels. So let's say that you have 5 users in the Des Moines office, and you want to track those 5 users, and you only want to give them access to maybe cap the amount that they're able to print, or you want to only give them access to buy supplies or not see certain things on the screens. You can control your access levels on a central dashboard. That's nice. Simpler than we find in Postage Meters. And of course, everything can be exported to Excel. So in this category of reporting, we have to give the winner to PC postage, mainly because it all comes standard, and there's just so much more data that seems to be stored in these systems because they're computer-based versus more hardware-based. With the enhanced systems that mail systems have, there's a lot more that you can do with them that gets close to PC postage, but we find there's a slight edge in PC postage when you're tracking especially large groups of users. Postage discounting. So there's a lot of postage discounts that are available now to people who use automated tools. So if you walk up to the retail counter of the post office and you buy a stamp, it costs 49 cents. If you use either a mailing system or PC postage, it's 46 cents. So they both offer a 3-cent discount. Electronic return receipt. So if you do certified with return receipt, a lot of people will historically fill out the green card to get back, and there's a charge for that. If you use the electronic version of return receipt, there's a $1.30 savings. So this is an option that comes standard on some PC postage tools, or is for certain classes with PC postage that it's already there. With mailing systems, it's usually an extra option that's only available for mid to large size systems. So it's there for most PC postage. It's an option for a lot of the mailing systems, but for the mid to higher end only. This is the big difference in rate structures, commercial versus retail rates. If you want to do a priority mail package, there's 3 different rate classes. Excuse me. There's retail, which is the rate you pay at the counter, at the retail counter of the post office, or through a postage meter. There's commercial base rates, which are the rates you get using PC postage. Or there's commercial plus, which is if you do more than 50,000 packages a year across your enterprise, or you can use a reseller program that can get you that rate, you get an extra 3% savings. So the difference between the retail to the commercial rate on average is about 14%. It varies based on weight, zone, and the type of packaging that you're using. But overall, if you look at it across all the classes, we usually tell our clients it's about a 14% discount. And the reason the post office is giving this discount, because instead of just kicking out a meter in print like this, and then sticking on a barcode from a roll that the post office provides, you're providing them an electronic file of all the information about that package. So you're giving them the destination address, you're giving them the return address, you're giving them a tracking barcode and the postage amount, and you're submitting all that to them electronically. So this information can all be tracked along with the shipment. And for that, they give commercial base or commercial plus discounts. The post office wants to compete more directly with the private carriers, and they know that their only way to do this is to have this sort of package level detail with each shipment. UPS used to have registers where you could print out, just a meter tape for a register. And in like the early 90s, they stopped that practice, and they made anybody who wanted to get the discounts go to this electronic package label, just like you're seeing with the Postal Service. The Postal Service is just a little bit later in adopting it and forcing it to be the main way to do it if you want the better rates. Next, we have first-class parcels. So first-class parcels are anything that you're sending that's less than 13 to 16 ounces, and we'll get into that in a sec, that is non-uniform in thickness, that can't be processed as a letter or a flat. And so if you look at this package, this is an example of a first-class package. So if you're sending a pen, if you're sending something like that, there's 2 ways to send it. The retail rates, which you'd get through a postage meter or at the retail counter, Or if you use a PC postage tool, you qualify for first-class mail package service commercial. The rates overall are 2 to 18% less using first-class package service commercial. The big difference is when you get into the 14, 15, and 15.99 ounces. Because with first-class mail retail, it caps at 13 ounces. And after 13 ounces, it goes to priority mail rates. With first-class parcels, they go up to 15.99 ounces. So let me just give you a real story. We were sending out coffee mugs to some of our clients as a thank you. And we sent, I think, about 150 of them. And they were 14 ounces. And so we sent these coffee mugs out using a PC postage tool. And it cost us $4.02 a piece. Had we sent those through the Postal Service without a PC postage tool, through a postage meter or at the retail counter, it would have cost us $6.65 to $10.50 for each one, 40 to 62% more. And the other thing that was nice about it is we just imported a list, all the labels print in a batch, and it's very simple to do. So the overall winner from a discounting perspective, we would have to give to PC postage because there's more discounts available. With a caveat, if you're a high volume mailer and you're using automation software to do barcodes in-house for your letters and your flats, or using a pre-sort service for your letters and flats, but you're metering the mail yourself, you want to keep using a mailing system because that's one, it's a production volume, and two, only mailing systems have those discounted rates for first-class letters and flats inside them. Round two, ease of doing business. So contracting. So with mailing systems, typically it's longer agreements. So leases are the most common. You have 3 to 5 years in duration. They lock you in for a specific payment. With meter rentals, which are for usually the lower end meters, the mailing systems, larger units can be purchased along with, if you buy a larger unit, which we find only happens maybe about 10% of the time, you can rent the meter and then pay for annual maintenance contracts with it. So if you rent the meter, you could see annual increases, or you could see usage-based rates that apply. So if you do certain amounts of postage, your rates could go up. And the typical terms on these are 1 to 3 years. So with contracting on PC postage, we just find it's a little bit easier. You pay a subscription, and that subscription can be paid month to month or on annual agreements, and there's just not much more to pay for. So the winner in this category we'd have to give to PC postage just due to the simplicity of the offer. It's not doing everything that the mailing system's doing. There's less things to have to pay for. Installation and training. So with mailing systems, new installations obviously have to be connected to the network, like we talked about. Low-end units are going to be self-installable, so you have to, they come with an operator guide and it sort of walks you through the prompts. Mid-end, high-end units, they'll usually bring on-site technical people to install it and remove the old equipment. And all the vendors have good websites and online videos to help you if you get stuck. PC postage is accessed via the web, or it can be installed directly on your PC. They have websites and online videos, and most of the PC postage providers will offer either daily or weekly webinars where you can get up to speed and trained on the software. So very easy to use. In this category, we'd have to give it a tie. Both do a great job getting installation and training. It's just a question of what things you're looking for. Ongoing support. So both will have detailed websites that you can access with help guides. Both have 800 call center assistance. Both will do service by replacement for low-end systems. So if you have a postage meter, it's one of the smaller ones, and you need it fixed, usually what they're going to do is just send you another one, and then you're going to send you a box to send the old one back in. Low-end systems for PC postage are usually service by replacement, and that service by replacement would be if you had a scale or a label printer or something like that. Mid or high-end mailing systems, they're going to offer you on-site support, which really isn't needed in PC postage. And if you have an enterprise account, if you're a larger account user, usually you'll have a dedicated account manager. And similar in PC postage, where you'll have a dedicated account manager if you're an enterprise account. So in ongoing support, we have to give these a tie. Very similar as far as the support levels that they provide. Billing. So with mailing systems, you have paper or electronic billings, just like PC postage. Similar payment options. Credit card, with mailing systems, you can pay with a credit card, but not for postage. There's some of the very low-end systems for some of the vendors, they allow you to pay your postage on credit card, but it's a very slim margin. You can do ACH for supplies, postage, lease, rentals. You can pay by check. And you compare that to PC postage, which, the majority of people are going to connect via a credit card or an ACH, or there are billing options where they can send you bills, usually, especially if you're a larger account and have multiple sites. So with the billing, there's just more things to pay for with postage meters, with mailing systems. You have lease or rental invoices, maintenance and rate change invoices. You have two different types of postage accounts, whether it's prepaid or advanced, where with PC postage, it's usually subscriptions that are billed monthly, and postage is either prepaid or advanced or linked into your account. So it's just there's fewer things because it's a much more simple solution on the PC postage side. And for that, we have to give PC postage the win, but the mailing system on the same side, could be bigger and doing more things. So again, PC postage wins for the simplicity of the offer and the ease of making changes. Investment. So mailing systems cost $20 a month to $1,000 a month. You could have some systems that are a little bit more based on, adding a bunch of extra features and speeds and things like that, where PC postage is $5 to $40 a month. It's significantly lower investments. Then we get into fees. In the fees, there are lots of fees in mailing systems that people often forget and miss. So maybe you have maintenance contracts or rate change agreements. Maybe you get charged for meter reset fees or postage advance fees or postage overage fees if you use more than your credit allowance. Or if you don't submit your proof of insurance certificate, you get charged insurance on leases or late fees or finance charges or property taxes because you have to pay the value of the equipment. So there's just a lot more things that you have to watch out for. With PC postage, there's much fewer. You could get late fees and finance charges, but that's about all that we really see. On the supplies are similar. Mailing systems probably wins out a little bit on supplies. Low volume systems are going to be similar from a cost of supplies. High volume are going to be much less with postage meters than they are with PC postage. So the winner on from a cost perspective, we certainly have to give that to PC postage. From a supplies perspective, we'd give it to mailing systems. Fleet management. So we manage customers that have anywhere between 10 to 2,000 facilities throughout the country. And so we think about these things not in like what does one particular site need, but what is an entire fleet operation? What's going to be the easiest way to manage that? So the first thing that we find is that there isn't a one-size-fits-all. Usually large fleets require some sort of blended approach. We find for low volume applications, PC postage is easier to manage because it eliminates the networking issue. There's no hardware or maintenance cost to deal with. You can add and remove subscriptions as you want, so you're not locked into terms. And you get visibility to the entire fleet on a website and where you can see all the activity of every user and everything that's happened inside there that we feel is simpler than from the postage meter side, getting that similar type of accounting set up. But every large customer also has mid to high volume locations that are going to need mail machines. And they need them because there's more efficient processing. Some of the mid-high-end systems include PC postage. It allows for automation if you want letter and flat discounts. And some people just have production needs that are just not going to be suited for PC postage. So an overall event champion, we have to say it depends. And you have to call it a tie because it's going to depend on your mailing volume. Mailing systems are going to be best suited for high volume, letter and flat volumes that we talked about. PC postage are a really good design for low volume mailers or people who are doing a lot of priority, packages or shipping because the discounts are better. And you can do more with the labels, where you can import the address lists and then process right off one system. So hopefully this side-by-side gave you a way to think about things, not just in the function of the software or the equipment itself, but in all the aspects that go into making that decision. Now, a little bit about us. If you do need any help from the experts, we do this every day. We're managing a fleet of about 70,000 pieces of mailing equipment and PC postage licenses. We're handling, I think 3,000 or 4,000 PC postage licenses in our fleet. And we help our clients reduce costs. So on average, we help our clients save 60% in this category by helping them optimize what solutions they're putting in, making sure they have the best pricing, and then working directly with the locations to make sure these changes happen. Our average client has saved $700,000, and which is in total about $27 million over the last 3 or 4 years. And every one of our team basically came from this industry, so we have over 200 years of experience helping our clients manage this. What clients really like is that we offer a web dashboard that gives a client the visibility to their entire portfolio of equipment all in one view. And so they can see all their meters and PC postage licenses and costs all in one place in a way that's very simple. And we find a lot of clients feel is easier than what the vendors provide on their own vendor's website, because it's more geared to simplifying and consolidating that data to a single view that is easy to look at. So, and this provides obviously time savings and assistance in fleet management. So if you are interested, what we do for every client is we offer to do a no-cost analysis, which is, you sign our limited agency agreement, which is a one-page document that just says that you're allowing us to have access to your portfolio, and then reach out to, make sure that that the vendors know that we're working on your behalf. And then you provide us with any reports that you have, whether it's an accounts payable export or if you have any inventory lists. And then we're going to build you a population report that shows you your spends throughout, the US and Canada. And then through that, we'll analyze your spends. We'll find billing errors and overcharges and lost postage and equipment savings opportunities. And then we'll present those to you for you to be able to see what the savings opportunity is inside your fleet. And if you decide you want to move forward, then we'll do the work for you, which is we'll submit the credits to the vendors. We'll help you collect your lost postage that we find, eliminate the fees that you're paying, help you negotiate like a contract pricing and a catalog. But then the big thing is we'll reach out to every one of your locations as they come up for renewal or as they have savings opportunities and help them make the equipment changes and then fully implement that. And all savings opportunities go to you for approval. And then we provide you a dashboard that gives you visibility to everything that's happened. And then we provide ongoing support to manage these renewals and billings and vendor compliance as they happen. Because we find that most people's portfolios are always evolving and they have equipment that's going to come up this year, next year, and in the future. And we're there to take care of anything in this category that comes up for help. Most of our clients work on a contingency model, so if we don't save any money, there's no cost. So we run these types of educational webinars on a frequent basis to try to just educate people on best practices in the mailing industry. So on June 14th, we're running our next seminar, Top 11 Common Mail Mistakes and How It Could Affect Your Bottom Line, as well as it will give also ideas about ways that you can eliminate these. And we welcome any ideas in the future that you have about content that you'd like to see in these types of webinars, and we'd be happy to put things together. So I want to open it up to any questions, and hopefully there are some, and let us know. And if you're not comfortable in this forum, you can feel free to email them to us email them to me directly at the email address below, or to Doris Tam at the email she provided. So Doris, you want to open it up to see if there are any questions?
Absolutely. So there's one question. In the fleet decision, what do you consider low volume and what do you consider mid to high volume?
Sure. It's going to be different in every organization. I would say when your low volume sites are the sites typically doing less than $200 or $300 a month in postage. Those we usually consider the low volume sites. And mid to high volume is people doing more than that. Those are usually the cutoff that we put in, but it's going to be different in every organization based on the comfort level of your employees.
And the question, will the presentation be available online or sent to us? It will be made available online through our website under FAQs, as well as the presentation will be sent out in the post-webinar email.
Any other questions? We'll stay online for a couple minutes in case people have things that they'd like to ask.
Another question, what are the inherent risks of using a web-based service?
We found everyone from like the Department of Defense to like large financial institutions are using PC postage and not having issues with it. So we haven't found any risks per se with it. There's actually, we find a lot of security options in PC postage because you get to have username and password rights. So you get to basically lock down the usage and know exactly who ran each piece. With postage meters, our mailing system, sometimes if you don't put password controls on them, anybody can just walk up and run mail and you have no real visibility to it. With PC postage, you really know who ran each piece of mail, and we find it actually gives more control. From security issues, though, we haven't seen any issues in the past. And very secure organizations are using it throughout their enterprise.
Another question, does the majority of the savings from Postal Advocate that Postal Advocate provides come from the switch to PC postage, i.e. average savings per customer is X, how much of that is postage switch?
So we would say in our fleet, some clients like PC postage works very well in a fleet environment when a corporate office or a headquarters can dictate that it happens. When you have to go site by site and ask people what they want, people usually defer to what seems the simplest from a transition point. So where we find PC postage transitions really work is when a corporate office says, okay, we have a corporate policy that says anybody who does less than $200 a month in postage uses PC postage. Anybody else is going to use something different, and there it works really well. We would say that we have a mixed bag. Probably, more and more of our customers are looking at PC postage, but we have lots of customers that just stick with postage meters, and that's what they want inside their fleet, and they don't want PC postage. So of our savings, the majority of the savings is caused by people changing equipment, and the majority of the savings is people changing mailing equipment to mailing equipment, not just PC postage. But in our savings, one more piece of it that I'll give you, of the 60% savings, about a third of it is helping negotiate better contracted rates. 2/3 is really about helping people properly right size. So when we go to a location that spends like a lot of money on small mail volumes and we help give them options of what makes sense, that's one of their authorized approved solutions, and then guide them through that transition and manage the fact of those equipment changes, that's where 2/3 of the savings really come from. Any other questions?
One more question. What are you seeing as an industry standard for PC postage? Web, cloud-based, or download to computers? Does it depend on the size of company?
It depends on the type of organization. Clearly it's easier to do cloud-based than it is to have things installed. But a lot of the software vendors that provide PC postage will have more features inside their installed versions of software. So that's one. The next thing is questions about the address book. So a lot of people have an address book inside these software tools, and some companies have protocols that they don't want addresses out there on the web. So that could be one reason why people install the software on the computers and control it that way. But it's obviously a little bit lengthier from the approval process and working through IT. What we do find, if you think about PC postage in an enterprise using cloud-based tools is in essence the same thing as using something like UPS Campus Ship, where you're going on UPS.com or FedEx.com and processing your shipments and storing it on UPS's cloud. It's really no different than that from a PC postage perspective if you're using the web version. And that's a common practice at most organizations. Good questions, though. Any other questions? I want to thank everybody I hope this session was helpful, and I hope there was some new information that you got to learn from it. And let us know if you need anything. We're always there to help, even if it's just a question that you want answered. Thank you, everybody.